Morning Meeting, submitted by Anonymous. I was so happy to get a job at this warehouse. I was out of work for a bit and needed to get back on my feet. So when a friend of mine was able to get me this job, I was so grateful. About a month into it, I started to realize the true wisdom of the words, "Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it." I remember when I was unemployed, I blew this guy's phone up something fierce trying to get the job, poor bastard. And being the good friend that he is, he really pushed to get me in the door. And my first day there, I could not stop thanking him. And I distinctly remember him telling me to wait a week, then see if I was still grateful. Okay, so I'm a slow learner. Now, when we were at the job, we had these morning meetings. Work started at 8 a.m. on the dot, but we were required to show up at 7:55 a.m. and did not get paid for the 5 minutes that we were there. Now, this doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but take 5 minutes 5 days a week. That's 25 minutes per week. Multiply that by 52 and you'll get roughly 21 hours and 40 minutes. Multiply that by your current rate of pay, and then ask yourself if you'd let someone walk away after screwing you out of that money, or if you'd rather feed them their own dick. Now, in these morning meetings, every morning we get told what day of the week it is. No, I'm serious. This is how little the people that were in supervisory positions thought of us, thinking that we were so stupid we needed to be reminded of the days of the week, like we were back in fucking kindergarten. This practice culminated on Friday when one of the floor managers uttered the phrase, "You know what they say, thank God it's Friday," with what I believe to be a mixture of self-hatred, shame at their children, and leftover bong resin. After being told what day of the week it was, we were invariably told that cell phones were not allowed in the warehouse, and that anyone caught with a cell phone would be terminated on site. At first I thought this was a safety issue since there was a lot of electronics and a forklift that ran around all the time. But I soon came to realize that they didn't want us job hunting while at work. Yeah, for the last 9 months I was there, I had my cell phone on me every day, and Career Builder logged in under my personal password on the company computer. So after the Days of the Week tutorial and the reminder on cell phones, we were then regularly punked out for mistakes at work, told how many units we had to move, and reminded that we were required to work overtime at a moment's notice. And I mean literally at a moment's notice. We got off work at 4:30, and at 4:29 they would tell us we had to stay late. Long story short, these morning meetings sucked dog dick. About the only good thing about them was that we weren't working until the meeting was over, and we started getting paid 5 minutes into it. Also, these meetings dragged on forever, especially if this one manager was in charge of it. We'll call her Louisa. Now, I think the best way to describe Louisa would be to say that if the Black Eyed Peas wrote a song about her, will.i.am would sing something like, "What you gonna do with all that ass inside them jeans, and outside them jeans, and coming out the sides, and the second ass coming out the front of them jeans, and under your shirt. Wait, how the fuck do you have two asses? Fuck this, I quit," and then walk the fuck off stage. To say this woman was fat is like calling Michael Jordan a decent basketball player. I don't want to make fun of someone's personal physical traits. In fact, I could probably lose a few pounds myself. But this woman was the fattest woman I have ever seen. One of my coworkers described her as front butt. Matter of fact, can we all just agree to call her front butt instead of Louisa from now on? You know what? I'm not even asking anymore. It's happening. Her new name is Front Butt. Also, she had the personality of a used tampon. Stuck up, bloody cunt. Therefore, I reserve the right to blast her with both barrels of rage. You don't get to be fat and be a fucking asshole. You have to choose to be one or the other. So hit the gym and continue being a douchebag, or smoke a bowl down a box of Twinkies and shut the fuck up. So whenever Front Butt would run the morning meetings, she would go off the handle about some inconsequential bullshit or the other. Smoking in the grass over by the building, everyone not being energetic enough, everyone not being happy enough, etc., etc. When she got worked up, her chins would start flapping about. And there were multiple chins. Some of us actually thought that she was about to have a heart attack, which would have bought at least a few hours off and thus been awesome. Personally, I would have liked to have sent her a slab of bacon and a carton of Marlboro Reds in the hospital, complete with a note that said, "Don't stop till you have the big one." Most of the time, as soon as she got revved up, I tuned out. It's like when you're in high school and you start daydreaming about your favorite movie or video game, or staring at your classmate Stacy's cleavage or whatever, while the teacher's trying to lecture you about some stupid molecules or something. Except in the warehouse it was mostly guys, so Stacy's cleavage wasn't exactly an option. Now, I've probably blanked out about 90-95% of the morning meetings completely. See, when I was a manager in training, I learned from a lot of great people that one of the things you do in a morning meeting is limited to 10 minutes. Anything longer than that, caffeine starts wearing off, people start getting tired, and productivity is shot right in the balls. Also, if you have a morning meeting, have something important to say that's positive. Don't just bitch people out. No one likes to get humiliated, and wearing someone out in public will just kill morale. So if you're going to say something about a specific person or group, make it positive. Basically, put someone over in public, and if you gotta break them down, do it in private. Front Butt clearly had not taken the same class I had, as she routinely ran someone or everyone down in front of everyone else, and meetings lasted a good half an hour. That's a lot to blank out, but I managed to get through most of it. One meeting, unfortunately, sticks with me regardless of how much I drink. Front Butt comes at us for 47 minutes, and she's so furious the veins are popping out of her forehead. I really thought she was going to die. The reason behind the fury: someone got sick in the bathroom, probably from dehydration, and had managed to miss a spot cleaning up. That's right, folks. 47 minutes over splattered shit. I am too stupid to make this crap up. And she went on to try to humiliate all the men in the warehouse by talking about how to wipe one's ass and threatening to fire the person if they ever got found out. Seriously, she wanted to fire someone for taking a shit. My question is, what the hell were you even doing in the men's room anyway? Now, as this was going on, all I could think about was my coworker Carlita. She had been there longer than I had, and was just as overworking there as I was, probably more. Carlita was one of the nicest, most intelligent people you could ever hope to meet, though. She was from South America originally and was a psychiatrist back home. She was very polite and very religious. I always felt bad for her that she left South America as a proper Christian woman, looking for an opportunity here in America, and the first one she gets is working for these douchebags in this godforsaken hellhole. Not to mention the fact that psychiatrists make pretty good bank, and I couldn't imagine her making anything comparable on her paycheck by comparison. We always got along well because she was trying to learn English and I spoke Spanish and was trying to brush up. So at least we could communicate semi-effectively, particularly about looking for another job. But this morning punk out session was done in English. Either myself or a coworker would have to translate into a 20 seconds or less version in Spanish for her. I just remember thinking that I didn't know who I felt worse for that morning: the coworker that had to translate this 47-minute rant on men's room shit splatter, or Carlita for having to listen to it. Either way, there was absolutely no fucking way I was translating this one. We eventually got to go to work, and lo and behold, the coffee that tasted like it was filtered through a jockstrap began to work its magic on me. I told my coworker I'd be right back and tried to open the door to the men's room. Notice how I used the word tried there? That's because these dumb cunts locked the fucking door. So now we have a warehouse, 30 men, all of them on coffee, and none of them can use the restroom on site. And we were not allowed to leave the premises, obviously. We had to wait until 10 a.m. to take a 15-minute break. Pardon the expression, but this shit wasn't going to fly with me, especially since there was only one active stall. I politely asked Front Butt's supervisory partner, one of four for 30 people no less, let's call this one Terry, to open the door. She simply shook her head no and stated that it was off limits since none of us could be trusted in the bathroom. Yes, folks, we're right back in kindergarten. I told her it was a bit of an emergency, and she said the bathroom was locked until 10 a.m. I responded with, well, then you need to pick a corner and give me a bucket. She did not appreciate. We went back and forth for a minute. She stormed off to go ruin someone else's day, spreading misery and despair like Santa Claus on methamphetamine. I briefly considered kicking the goddamn door down, but break was only 30 minutes away, so I decided to hang on. Thankfully, I made it to the nearby convenience store, because what a shocker, at 10 a.m. the bathroom jammed up. As I proceeded in the Quickie Mart bathroom and let go of the biggest brown growler I could pass, my hate for the place I worked gave way to a single thought. What the hell was Front Butt doing in the men's room anyway? This shithouse exodus lasted for another week before they realized that some of us were on the verge of kicking the men's room door down. They then decided to give us a sign and sign us out like we were picking up a hall pass in high school. Then they started telling us we could only sign in or out once a day. Then one of the people brought medical documentation stating that he needed more access than that, and eventually they just abandoned the whole thing. And all this drama took place over splattered shit. Seriously, what the fuck was Front Butt doing in the men's room to begin with?